An unlawful market in the heart of North Belfast.
They're taking money every week. Where's that money going to? Has it been used for other elements we don't know?
An operation that has gone unchecked.
It's a beggar's belief, frankly, that nobody knew who was involved.
But where does the cash end up?
There's been talk over the years that there were certain organisations on both sides of the divide that were working a partnership.
Spotlight follows the money trail.
The men at the top are making money from a market that should never have been there.
An undercover Spotlight investigation reveals the people with paramilitary connections who appear to be taking the money. Hillview Retail Park on North Belfast's Crumlin Road. More than 90,000 square feet of land that has been largely derelict for years. This secret camera footage filmed over the last 2 months shows a bustling Sunday market and car boot sale. Pastor Jack McKee runs a community outreach programme at New Life City Church off the nearby Shankill Road.
Right, son.
Your hands are warm?
All right, take it easy. Good to see you. God bless.
God bless.
Hillview is only a short distance from his church.
I know there are people in our church who would go to it on a Sunday morning, and as far as they were concerned, they were just going to a market. They appreciated being able to walk around it and getting some good deals. It has been providing a service to the community and beyond for, I don't know, maybe 12, 13, 14 years.
Good deals for the punters, but this market is unlawful. Car boot sales can operate without a licence on vacant property for only 14 days a year. This market has been on the go for more than a decade. It's so established that even the AA has a stall for signing up new members. And you can even find it as a point of interest on Google Maps. Spotlight decided to take a closer look using the cover of a car boot stall of our own. Spotlight is also secretly filming. First, there's a fee to be handed over. Arriving at the gate, the Spotlight undercover team meets this man. In a high-vis bib, he charges an entry fee of £7.
7 in it. 3, 4. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And another 3, big one.
Vans are charged £20. For shoppers who want to park, it's 2. Spotlight understands that permanent stall holders and traders pay upwards of £50 a week. The undercover team are told they're lucky to get a space.
Get a space still?
No, you'll be dead on the summer. You wouldn't get in here in the summer this time, like. Would you not? No, definitely not. Would you not? They'll get your clothes by 8 o'clock.
The team park and set up a secret Spotlight stall.
Are you right there for handbags, Mom?
They're now getting a steady stream of buyers. The items on sale in the market include fruit and veg and old toys. But it doesn't take long before one of the men manning the entrance tells the undercover team about counterfeit goods.
A couple of months ago, a fella he's doing perfume and lipstick and stuff.
The Spotlight team takes a closer look.
Much so?
Thanks.
40. And the purse comes with it?
I like that 10 bigger one there. Do you like it, do you?
Very nice. What's it?
25.
After just pulled from the 2 sides, they're not getting in for a couple of months now, like.
Right.
These are bags being sold purportedly as the designer brand Michael Kors. Selling at just £40, it's a relative steal. They can retail from 100 to anything up to many thousands of pounds.
Much for that?
40.
40.
We haven't a bag big enough to put that in now, have we? The best I can do for you is no hand on it now.
You're alright, do the best. 10, 20, 30, and 40.
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, man. Thank you.
Have a good day.
The team also picks up a pair of jeans with a Quicksilver label, a relatively expensive brand.
What about you? What's the again?
Fiver, man.
Fiver?
Aye. That's them good Quicksilver ones there, man.
Oh, no bother.
No bother. Get your wee bag for me.
5?
Or mate, in a free bag.
Thank you very much.
No
Here,
bother.
mate.
Thank you.
Spotlight asked Trading Standards for help in establishing that the purchases were in fact counterfeit. Northern Ireland Trading Standards told Spotlight that the brand Michael Kors would not sell their handbags in a Sunday market in Belfast. They also alerted Spotlight to the quality of these purchases. You can see it here in the stitching on the handbag and the embellishments that come off quite easily. The same applies to the jeans. And obviously the prices are the giveaway. These brands don't sell for £40 or £5. But this story is not about cheap knockoffs. It's about the individuals running an unlawful Sunday market. It's also about the use of a vacant site in an area of Belfast with huge social housing need. It's Sunday, but there's no one at Hillview. It was shut down after Spotlight approached some of those involved last month. Tonight, Spotlight seeks the answers to a series of questions of significant public interest. First up, how was Hillview Market allowed to operate? It's Belfast City Council's job to licence markets in the city. Hillview Market was open for 14 years, all that time without a licence, and the City Council can't claim not to have known. Because Spotlight has evidence that the City Council knew about the market from as far back as 2012. Spotlight has seen letters sent from the council's solicitors to the then market operators acknowledging that the market is unlawful. A member of the council's licensing committee acknowledges that it did not push for its closure.
The Belfast City Council Licensing Committee are the authority responsible for granting licences in Belfast for markets. It's very clear that the council have played an adequate role in terms of responding to people's requests and people's campaigners and their requests surrounding the running of this site.
Next, who has been benefiting from the Hillview Sunday market? Spotlight followed the money trail, starting at the market entrance. This is the man who took the entry charge from the Spotlight Undercover team and boasted about just how busy the market can get.
You wouldn't get in here in the summer this time, like?
Would you not?
No, definitely not.
Would you not?
They'll get your coat by the o'clock.
His name is Paul Shaw. He's a loyalist and a member of the Young Conway Volunteers Flute Band. In 2011, he was interviewed for a BBC documentary about marching bands.
You can only be in the band if you're loyal to the Queen, loyal to the Crown. We believe it's our British right to walk. It's a part of our heritage and a part of our culture. We walk the Queen's Highway. This is Britain we're walking in. And I mean, I'm never going to give that up for nobody. I'm never going to give up my culture and my traditions.
Paul Shaw was one of 13 bandsmen initially convicted of provocatively playing a sectarian tune outside a Catholic church during a march in 2012. A conviction the group later successfully appealed after consenting to being bound over to keep the peace for 2 years. Paul Shaw has also been the manager of the Shankill Historical Society. The shop sells loyalist memorabilia, including commemorative UVF flags.
The shop opened in around 1970. It originally opened as a source of income for the support of loyalist prisoners and their families.
The Ulster Volunteer Force has been described by the PSNI Chief Constable as a scourge on the community. Its links to criminality, racketeering and intimidation makes it difficult to get UVF insiders to go on camera. But a source with detailed knowledge of the UVF agreed to meet Spotlight. We have reconstructed his interview with an actor. For safety reasons, the source spoke to the team on the basis of anonymity. He says that money made at the Shankill Historical Society actually funds the UVF.
Any money there goes into the UVF kitty. It's UVF HQ. Upstairs is known as the Eagle. They used to hold meetings there and summon people.
The source also knows Paul Shaw, the man who collects the money at the market and has worked at the Shankill Historical Society.
He is UVF. Without a doubt. You don't run the Shankill Historical Society if you're not in the UVF. He's number 5 platoon, A company.
Paul Shaw's lawyer told Spotlight that his client was not a member of the Ulster Volunteer Force and has never been questioned, charged or prosecuted for membership of this said organisation. And what about Hillview Market? His lawyer said Paul Shaw was not in any way involved in the organisation and administration of the car boot sale. But let's take a closer look at the secret camera footage. Sources have confirmed that the man here, stationed in a car at the entrance of Hillview, collecting money, is the same as this man here. Spotlight believes that he is Paul Shaw, and we believe that he is in fact involved in the administration of the market. Paul Shaw's involvement prompts further questions. Where does the money he collects at the entrance to Hillview Market actually end up? Who is really behind the market? And aside from all of that, there's another big question. How well is the site being used to satisfy the needs of the local community? Why, especially in an area with huge social housing need, has this site stood undeveloped for so long? The SDLP councillor for North Belfast is Paul McCusker.
Hillview site, we know that it should be used for social housing. There's been this ongoing discussions and anger within the local community that it's not been used for social housing. I think, the current need within North Belfast, we know there's over 2,000 people waiting on a social house. There's 1,700 of those people who are living in housing stress. So we know there's a massive need there.
This is the man whose family property business has controlled the Hillview site. He is Frank Boyd, one of Northern Ireland's richest men and most prominent developers.
He was a big player, there's no question about it. I mean, Frank Boyd was on the rich list for a long time. He enjoyed big returns from his property investments during the boom years, ended up accumulating quite a significant empire in the north, but also with properties and commercial and other interests in the Republic and indeed in Britain and further afield.
Frank Boyd has a portfolio of prime real estate in Belfast, which has included Connswater through his property firm Killulta. Hillview was launched as a retail park in 2003. It had been a joint venture between Killulta and a construction company in Hillsborough. Taxpayers also pitched in because more than £1 million of public money went towards its construction costs. In 2010, Frank Boyd lost control of his properties as a result of the property crash. 5 years later, he brokered a favourable refinancing deal to regain control. His property firm Killulta then sold Hillview at a knockdown price. The sale essentially kept Hillview in the Boyd family empire because Frank Boyd's son Brendan is a director of the company that purchased Hillview, and the retail park is listed on Killulta's website as part of its portfolio.
I think he'd be quite happy to say, you know, I got out alive, I'm still in business, I'm still developing property.
The Hillview site has only ever been designated for retail use, so it's no surprise that after the economy improved, its owners would seek to redevelop it. But that move alarmed some locals. Last year, when an application to turn this site back into a retail venue was approved, some residents began to ask why. Now, planners have previously designated this site for retail use, but as some of the residents see it, why would a failed retail site built with the help of public money be used again for commercial purposes instead of housing? A social justice group started a campaign with residents calling for the development of social housing.
Look at the place, it's a wasteland. I think that what the financial assistance that this developer has received, as well as policy assistance, you know, planning assistance and approval for plans and so on, what that has led to is a wasteland sitting in North Belfast, a massive resource which could tackle all sorts of social and economic inequalities in this community that is lying wasting away until an opportune moment when the developer decides it can be put to use again to make more money.
Frank Boyd did at one point make a portion of this land available for housing. In 2005, his property firm and Hillview's co-owner sold a slice of the land to a housing association, which was later granted planning permission to develop houses. But houses were not built on the larger retail park. And last year's retail planning application for Hillview alarmed Sean Brady. He asked the authorities to investigate. What the Land and Property Services found was not an issue for the landlord, but rather the market operators. They owed 2 years of unpaid rates. This can't be collected because Land and Property Services says it doesn't know the identity of the operators.
You've got to be concerned when your public authorities can't identify people who the dogs on the street can see operate in the market on a weekly basis on this site.
When Land and Property Services does manage to figure out who is responsible, that person could be liable for thousands of pounds of backdated rates. One Stormont MLA is surprised that the authorities do not already know who they should be looking for.
I would find it extremely odd if a serious attempt wouldn't reveal who was responsible, who was collecting the stall rents, who was collecting the car parking charges, and who was raking in the profits. It beggars belief, frankly, that nobody knew who was involved.
But Spotlight believes it has gone a long way to establish who was involved with the Hillview Sunday market. A number of loyalist sources, including Spotlight's anonymous source, have told the programme that the market is being run as a carve-up between loyalists and Republicans with links to the UVF and the Provisional IRA.
Nothing happens there without both sides say so. It's a half and half sort of thing. They were running it between them. You've got the guys at the top, then they have all these wee gophers around them who they get to do the work.
Loyalists and Republican paramilitaries working together for profit. It's a scenario that doesn't shock Pastor Jack McKee, whose outreach includes working with former paramilitaries to encourage them to turn their backs on the past.
I'm not surprised that Republicans and Loyalists work together in this and on other activities. It's what they've been doing for many, many years. If they can see an opportunity to work together that benefits both sides, then that's what they do.
But what Spotlight can show tonight is clear evidence that Loyalist paramilitaries were involved in the market. Remember bandsman Paul Shaw, the man collecting the entrance fees at the market, the man who, unbeknownst to him, chatted with the Undercover Spotlight team.
Would you not? No, definitely not.
Paul Shaw has also been identified as the gopher for a senior UVF man.
He does his running for a very well-known man on the Shankill, Joe McGaw.
Joe McGaw. Here he is in 2013, marking the centenary of the formation of the old UVF. Joe McGaw is a senior Belfast loyalist, seen here during a 2008 conflict resolution conference in Belfast. Here is Joe McGaw during a UVF show of strength. And here he is again behind the scenes and appearing somewhat camera shy at the loyalist Twaddell camp protest. Spotlight understands that Joe McGaw was a former commander of the UVF's A Company, but was stood down in 2015. Sources told Spotlight that while he no longer has the rank of commander, he continues to have some level of responsibility within the organisation.
He's been stood down more times than Frank Bruno has had comebacks, but he keeps getting back into the fold. He's a money maker. That's what he does. He wouldn't have the power that he used to have, but he's an earner, and he still rolls the money in for the UVF. He organises collections. The money would be handed to him, and then he would hand it over to more senior people.
Joe McGaw, according to a number of sources, is a UVF bagman and also the person those collecting the money at the gate of Hillview Market are said to be working for.
He won't be at the market himself, he'll be at home on the sofa, but he's getting the money. You can tell by his lifestyle. He has top-of-the-range cars. He goes on all these holidays. It's always been the same. The Shankill hasn't changed one bit. The men who make the money haven't stopped. All they do is go from the bar to the boogies and the boogie to the bar. They're loving life while their gophers do all the work.
In a letter to Spotlight, Joe McGaw's lawyer said his client is not a member of the Ulster Volunteer Force, never has been a member of the Ulster Volunteer Force, and has never been charged, prosecuted or convicted of membership of this organisation. He said Joe McGaw has no legal or equitable interest in the market at Hillview. He added he has never been a licensee in respect of the land at Hillview. But evidence collected by Spotlight's undercover investigation suggests there is a financial connection. Tonight, Spotlight can reveal secretly filmed footage of the Hillview money trail. The Spotlight investigation team spent 4 weeks undercover at the market. At the same time, the team also conducted surveillance of the surrounding area. The white car in which Paul Shaw sat stationed at the market entrance collecting money from sellers and traders was Spotlight's central focus. The undercover team followed the car on 3 separate occasions, from the market to a nearby house. Here is Joe McGaw, identified to Spotlight as a money bagman for the UVF entering that house. Separately, a short time later, he receives a visit from his runner, Paul Shaw. It's a Sunday and Shaw has just come off a 6-hour shift manning the gate of the market and collecting money. Paul Shaw is delivering a bag to Joe McGaw. We can't say what's in the bag, but what we can say is that over a number of weeks the Spotlight undercover team identified a pattern of events. Paul Shaw sitting in the same car at the market entrance, collecting money. The car then going directly to this address and dropping off a bag. Spotlight asked Joe McGaw whether he received proceeds from the market. We told Joe McGaw we had evidence of apparent cash from the market being delivered to him.